still injured.
Who?
Joe K.
Oh, I think he's still recovering from a surgery.
Okay, cool. All right, we can go live.
I think we already are.
So,
Everybody good?
Oh,
Yeah.
this link that we use, is this what we share with people, or what's the link to share?
No, within Hangouts on the low right, if you see the links button, you want to click that, and then you want to use the YouTube page link, not the video embed. That one is the live link. Yes, I've shared it.
Man.
Yeah,
Everybody good?
I don't
Yeah.
have. I don't know where the hell that's
So,
at. Can you put that in the chat? Can you put that link in the chat?
Yes,
Because
I will do so right now.
technically, I'm not very bright.
Hold on, it's coming.
What you drinking, Brickford?
We had some leftover Jack Honey from the Georgia Kickball Open.
So just
Found it when I was
straight,
moving the table.
just straight right now, or
Oh yeah, that's straight. And then we got a little old fashioned to cut it.
nice cube you got there.
Nice what?
Nice cube you got there.
Oh yeah, you got to go high class with the cubes.
Jay would be proud.
Once Mr. Green returns from his dishes, we will get started. We are live here.
All right. All right.
I wonder how many other chores Brian planned during this podcast.
I mean, it could be a multitasking situation.
I was thinking about doing some vacuuming, actually.
I mean, to each their own, right? The jack of all trades over here.
Okay, greetings, everyone. We're here. We are live. It is the Founders Cup 20th Anniversary Edition pre-podcast. We are joined by Mr. Joseph. Shit. There we go. From Relax. We also have JJ from Hitch Intense, Rick from Flying V, and Brian from Fainting Goats. Let me make sure this goes back. God damn it. Now, how do I go to everyone? Okay, we'll go from there.
You don't know my real name, do you?
Who am I speaking with?
Clebone.
Joey.
Okay, you said Mr. Joseph. That was pretty hard.
Would you prefer sugar tits?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Getting saucy. I like it.
Okay, so a couple things to start off with. Most important news of the day, regardless of anything, is right here. We love Vegas. Lots of love for everyone out there. Couple important things to note. Everything that we've heard from WAKA is everything is a full go for the weekend. That doesn't mean things may not change. Obviously, there are higher priorities right now in terms of all the things going on there. But as we know, as of now, everything is a full go. Nothing has changed. If anything changes, obviously, Saw or Brent will let everyone know. Good things to think about as we go forward. One, first, don't be afraid to give everyone in Vegas a big hug. All of our Vegas kickballers, they're all our friends, our once-a-month friends. We see them, give them a big hug. Two, when you get there, don't hesitate to give blood. There are lots of lines now. By the time it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, show up, give blood. It will certainly help by any stretch of the imagination. And then three, for all captains, think about a team meeting, some sort of safety meetup should things go down. It doesn't suggest anything is going to, but certainly everyone's going to be jittery. If there are loud noises or bangs, there may be some kind of panic situation. Just have a way to get in touch with all of your people. Let's give everyone else just a chance to address that. Let's start with Brian. Brian, you're in Vegas. Happy to know that you're safe. Tell us what's going on, my friend.
Yeah, I'm safe. My team is safe. Pretty much everybody, I know of that was at the concert is safe, thankfully. Definitely a weird day. Like, it's a weird vibe around here. Just talking to different friends and teammates. Everyone's kind of, everyone's just kind of like quiet and, just a little off today. So, that I've experienced and seen. still a lot going on. There's still issues on the roads and the freeways with closures and, you know, active investigation and all that stuff. So it's kind of a mess right now. But yeah, some teammates and friends were at the concert and had some close calls, which was a little scary last night. So I think half of our team, if not more, was up and making sure everybody got checked in and, you know, made sure, you know, everybody's accounted for. So I don't think much of us slept a whole lot, but it's crazy.
Rick, anything to add?
Rick said
Oh,
lost.
did you say me?
Yes, Brick. Anything to
I
add?
thought you said. I thought. No.
JJ?
Wait, what was that? I didn't hear you.
JJ, anything?
Oh no. In regard to that, no. I mean, heart goes out to those people that out there. Is a strictly unfortunate event. But I'm glad to hear that a lot of WAKA people are still safe and everything like that. So as far as my end, I haven't heard anybody that was out there. So kind of fortunate to hear that. But aside from that, though, my heart goes out to them, and then we gotta come as a community to just help support our fellow kickballers.
Joey, anything else?
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing sucks. Ryan, I'm surprised you're even on here right now. I mean, I'm not surprised you are. I'm sure you're in shock still. Your little city is. My little sister's there right now, just for business. But it's going to be weird when we get there, I think, still. I think the aura is going to be a little strange. But it's the best part about this group is we kind of get to have our own little bubble and rejoice in each other and yell at each other.
Definitely.
Prayers to you and all your friends, Brian.
Thanks.
Cool. It's good to get that out of the way. Outside that, for continuity's sake, my name is Matt. This is a Kickball podcast, and let's get talking to Founders Cup.
You were doing that in the middle of me talking, and I could not concentrate.
I did not know what just happened.
So I guess let's just jump right in. Let's plow right into pools. We'll go through all the pools. We'll pick winners out of pools. In the middle, we'll talk about events, other fun stuff thereafter, and then we'll predict elims, do some Q&A, and go from there. Just before we get started on all the pools, let's have everyone just talk about general thoughts about seeding, anything that jumped out at them, general thoughts on the tourney, where their team is coming in. Brian, let's start with you.
Let's see. Seeding. Not a whole lot of surprise for me. Maybe relax a little low, just on paper. I figured they'd be. I thought relax is one of the teams that would jump us. I was telling my team going into it that I thought the teams that would jump us just on paper. I thought we'd be one of them. I kind of thought we'd be 8. So I guess, you know, maybe relax swapping us or relax even being like a 6 seed was what I expected. But everything else is pretty much what I expected. I mean, you know, 5-year plan. Just you look at those rosters and it's hard to not put them up there at the top. So everything. Honestly, probably the big surprise for me is Rebels. I don't know if it's just because of a lack of, you know, WAKA activity or lack of knowledge on the rosters, but they're sitting down there at 18, which is kind of surprising to me. But that's about it. Everything else looks pretty good.
There's certainly a dirty spot in Pool C, and I think obviously Founders always takes prior Founders Cup history into effect for things like that, but they're certainly sleeping down there. Rick, do you have any thoughts? What were your initial reactions when pools came out?
Kind of par for the course. I mean, we don't really pay much attention to it. We usually just kind of take a look and see where we're ranked, and didn't have to go very far. I had one question about the TBDAF. I actually honestly didn't even look at the rankings. Where are they ranked?
I think 20.
TBDF is 20 in Pool A. They're a 4 seed in Pool A.
Yeah. So I was on the rosters today, and that's Lato's team that actually kind of gave y'all a pretty good run for your money, Cleabone. And the Dallas Regional, if I'm not mistaken, I would say they're more of a glaring underranked than anybody out there. I looked at Rebels roster; they're more of a compilation of Rebels and Savage Shock, which they could either be really good or they could be really mediocre. It really just depends on how they decide to play that day and how all those guys mesh. But the TBDAF was probably the most glaring one in my idea, especially since some of those names that are on there you didn't know at the beginning of the year, and now they're kind of mainstays. They've been playing the availables, they've been playing other tournaments. That was really kind of the only thing that jumped out at me. I guess as well as the relax ranking a little low, but we've seen some power available teams not do so hot. Maybe that was counted against them there. So who knows? But definitely not necessarily a deep field because there's only 25 teams, but pretty solid group of 25. And with the additional pool play game, I think there's not any pool has an easy walk there. So Vegas always brings out some weird matchups and some weird final scores that you kind of scratch your head out at the end of the day. So
were you surprised that you guys got the number 1 seed?
Yeah, I was surprised. I mean, we're probably like the 9th or 10th best team in this tournament. Our guys just aren't.
Look at you sandbagging bullshit.
What's the deal? Did you not win your regional?
The regional. I mean, you can throw excuses out there if you want, but we had an interesting start to the day before. Our Miller, who's one of our starting catchers and kicks on the top of the lineup, decided to go play basketball and league play the night before and re-injured an ankle or a knee or a hamstring. I'm not really sure with that guy. He's glass. So we're without him all day, and then I got hurt in the first game, but anybody else that we could throw in there. So we were a little walking wounded. We had a couple guys end up not making it to the regional, so we were shorter than we expected. So the roster in Vegas looks really nice, but we didn't have access to all of that in the regional. So still no excuses to lose. But, it is what it is.
Cool. JJ, you're coming in on Pitch Intense. You guys are a 4 seed. Last year, you guys finished 8th. What were your thoughts on your seeding, where you guys came in? You happy with it?
Like to follow what Brick says, or Brickford, we didn't really pay attention to rankings. We just look at the quality of teams in our pool and try to decide for that. But overall, I was a little surprised about how high our ranking was for this year. Well, we had a good running the last 2 years. A little disappointment for the last 2 years as well. But overall, though, I think it was a pretty generous ranking, especially with the pedigree of teams that are on this roster right now. I think the rankings has been quite true for what the quality and pedigree of the Founders Cup is. Especially with the induction of the Kickball Open this year, I feel like there are a lot of teams got pulled that would be typically in Founders Cup, got pulled into the Kickball Open, so it kind of like concentrated all the teams that would typically be in Founders Cup. So instead of like a pool of 44 with a lot of dark horse teams or teams, unknown name teams, I feel like that played a factor in like a little bit of how rankings went. But the way that this year's the last couple of Founders Cups has gone, I mean, I'll take it. But at the end of the day, it's not about the ranking. It's about how you play on the field.
On a more important note, how are you doing? You took a nice knee in the face a couple of weeks ago in Georgia. Can you give everyone an update as to your face, your eye, your orbital? Where are you at? You healthy? You safe?
I still can see. I can see your beautiful face. I love your bald head. It's great. But no, thank you for asking. I appreciate that. So what occurred was that I got a knee to the face coming home at a plate, the first slide. So I end up actually fracturing my my nose as well as the orbital floor of my eye socket. So what that comes down to be is pretty much my apartment floor of my eye socket has caved in a little bit. So because of that, I have to have surgery actually this Wednesday to actually get that leveled out. So therefore, I can restore the full function of my eyesight. So right now, I can see head on. I can see pretty clearly, but like in extreme gazes, I have a little double vision. But aside from that, though, there's no pain. Everything's chill, and it should be a routine 1 hour surgery, and I'll be done and be out Founders Cup on Saturday morning, ready to cheer you guys on, or just cheer on Founders Cup and my team.
So you'll be playing Founders Cup 3 days after facial surgery?
Oh no! I'll be on the sidelines.
Okay, good.
I'll be
Just
taking
to
it
be clear.
clear. No.
Safety first.
Yeah, no.
Good. Well,
Of
that's
course.
good to
I'll be
hear.
there for the next tourney, though.
Okay, so let's hit Joey. Joey, you guys come in at number 8 in Pool C. You are 2 seed in the pool behind Sofa. What'd you think about your seed? What were your general thoughts on seedings? Anything jump out at you?
Not really. I mean, I feel like coming into Founders, it's saw those guys making decisions or their opinions off of weird people coming together, just like our team is. I mean, we haven't played together that much besides a couple of availables. I think I would have put us higher, but I like being a little bit lower because we tend to F shit up pretty good when we are higher. Saw gave a pretty good reasosoning for our ranking as well, somewhere on Facebook. I couldn't find it. I was looking for it just now, but
what was it?
It was. I want to say it was under one of McCarthy's posts. It was a big long one. I don't know if it was Circuit, definitely not, or the actual Founders one.
What was the gist of it, though?
Basically, that Sal watched us play and he didn't think we meshed well.
I can't imagine how he came to that conclusion.
I mean, he politely called us a shit show, I guess. I don't know.
Is that pre or post Bez?
This was with Bez on our team, obviously. Bez is going to be here. Y'all were asking me beforehand if he's really going to be here. I guess that's always a question. But as far as I know, yes.
Just creepy mustache Bez.
No.
I honestly just missed his
He
birthday.
saved it for the wedding, hopefully.
For the wedding, yeah, I believe. He wanted to, rather. I don't know. I guess Brick explained the story about how Flying B's #1. So I don't know if I agree with that. I don't agree with Sofa. I'd put Dibs over probably Shockwave and Sofa and Pigeon Tents. I don't know much about Pigeon Tents besides everything else looks about par for the course.
Yeah, if you kind of look at it, Joey, I mean, it kind of makes sense. Like y'all probably could have easily been a 7 seed, but probably for them with Vegas is still or Founders Cup is still doing the non-reseeding. So if B wins our pool, we'll be the 1 seed. Is that correct?
Yeah, and that's another thing as far as when I was taking a look at the bracket. Yeah, so, I know how that's put together, but I know there's a lot of weird caveats.
Yeah, so if everything goes par for the course, you'll have us and you guys in the Elite 8, which on paper could be a finals matchup, but
I know
maybe that's a dig at both of us, just so like, hey, pseudo available teams, we're going to make y'all play a little earlier than you probably need to. So
maybe
you kind of look at some of those rankings and say maybe that's why they're.
Maybe later on this podcast, if someone Brick, maybe you understand everything, but maybe you or Matt can explain exactly how the bracket could get changed up from, because I never understand that part.
The bracket will be preceded in the round of elims 16-8. So in the round of 16 and the round of 8, it's already preset. Where you finish in your pool, your position in that bracket is predetermined. Once you get into the final 4, they will reseed on each individual level, but that will only matter in terms of who gets preference of home versus away. So, for instance, last year we took Sofa's 1 seed, and we had the 1 seed through the round of 16 and 8 as it was set.
Okay, because you took them out of pool play, so you just replaced their actual pre-seeded seed.
Yes, correct. We won that pool, so we took the 1 seed in the whole tournament.
And then 3 seed in final 4. Gotcha.
Correct. And then once we got to the final 4, it was reset so that Dice had preference because they were a higher 1 seed they were a 1 seed and we were a 3 seed.
That makes sense now.
Once it got into the round.
I don't think I ever paid attention
into the final 4.
So what do you mean they had preference?
Round of 16, round of 8 was set by bracket, as it will be, I assume, currently. And then once we got into the final 4, they went by final seed or by original seed to dictate.
Okay.
So
Okay.
while in theory we had the number 1 because we had claimed Sofa, who was number 1, once it got into the final 4, each individual region, so to speak, was granted equally, and it was top seed from there. Dice was above us, so they got preference in terms of choosing home or away. Does that answer your question, Brian?
Was it their starting seed? Is that what it was? Or
Yes.
Their seed?
Yes, because we were 16 and they were 7 or 8.
Basically, it's just fill in for their seed. You replace them.
Okay.
Yes, that is correct.
Gotcha. Sounds great.
Okay.
But you don't.
Washington's up 10-0.
Is that just for home and away, or is that for the bracket positioning as well? Like
That was
you
just
flip the
home.
bracket.
It was already
Okay, you
set
didn't
after
just-
round of 8.
Okay.
So
Okay.
in terms the bracket was preset, but in terms of
Yeah.
preference,
Okay.
it went to
I
the
thought you
higher
meant the
seed
bracket
in the round
flipped
of
again
4.
at 4. Okay, got it.
Yeah, no. They did not get their choice of teams to play. They just got their choice of who it was.
Yeah.
Got it.
Cool. Okay, so that
Yeah,
covers
got it.
that.
All right, that makes more sense.
Let's jump right into Pool A. Pool A starts off with a 1 seed, Flying V. The 10 seed, Brola. The 11 seed, Gordon Bombays. 20 seed, TBDAF, excuse me. And the 21 seed, Outlaws. Brick, anything to say on V? I'm sure you're going to be coy and not say a lot, but let's hear what you got.
You're not going to give
Maybe
Brick
I'll say
a
a lot.
Mary Fuck Kill before we stop talking about this boring shit?
Say that again, Joey.
So you're not going to give Brick a Mary Fuck Kill before we start into this boring shit?
Well, and the one that he should start off with would be
You're the host,
Oh, shoot,
man.
I
I would
yeah,
have to. I would have to try to make it.
I don't-
What are you talking, Brick?
No, I don't know.
No, just go ahead. Go ahead in the pool. If we
think
can,
of one, Joey. We'll get him at the end of his answer. Brick, you guys got everybody? You feeling good? Your roster is good, you said earlier.
We're gonna be missing a few that aren't on that are on the roster, but y'all will find that out whenever we get there. But again, I didn't really look at our pool, but I mean, Brola, I played them last year with Dibs. It looks like they've got a very similar team. A couple guys haven't really been playing much this year, or guys that aren't on their normal roster, so they look solid. You got Bombays, you're all only one 1 foot away from a projectile throw with their objects that they carry over there, and then shoot TBDAF. I mean, just glanced over them, but after looking at the rosters, I mean,
A lot of veterans.
I would.
A lot of good female or
not get
veteran
those guys
females,
out.
too.
I mean, there's first 2 right there, and then you got Outlaws. Poor guys. They may be in for a tough day, but I think the top 4 teams in that pool are all pretty solid. I wouldn't be surprised to see some weird numbers there with maybe a loss and a tie from the top team that comes out of there, or even like the number 2 seed. So that pool seems pretty up for grabs to me.
Joey, what you got on Brola coming in at 10, and thoughts on V in general?
Well, I'll tell you really quick. I think Brig explained most of, the inside information for his pool. I can tell you what I predict that pool wins. I think Flying V is going to sail through it 4-0. I think Brola is going to end up, well, they'll lose 1 to B, but I think they're going to end up tying 1 to TBDAF. And then I think Bombays go 1-3-0, and then Outlaws aren't going to win 1 in that pool.
Ooh.
I think and then everyone's going to come out normally, I guess, in that. Well, no. That's the one where I have TBDAF replacing the Bombays in the 11 seed for the bracket. So that's my one pool. I think I have something switching up in.
Okay. So following up on that, at 11 comes in Bombay. They've actually had a pretty good season. I think they made it to at least 3 semifinals of Circuit Cup tourneys, and have had a bunch of nice turnouts. TBDAF, as Brett said, is Lito's team. They have a half decent idea of what's going on. Outlaws comes in, if I'm correct, they finished in the finals of the Arizona tourney. That rain-soaked first tourney of the year, and points to them for doing so. They had a 7-0 lead, if I'm correct, and then gave back 8 to the remnants of whoever the Vegas team was, Tim's Vegas team. But I think Aragon is back captaining them. They still have Haspy. They've got Miller, Hogan, Anthony McDaniel, a couple other people. But my bet out of this pool, and JJ and Brian, I'll let you guys follow up here in a second with your predictions, but I think V takes 1, they go 4-0. I think actually Bombay's will be 3-1. And I think Brola and TBDAF will split, and it'll be some sort of run differential thereafter. I think Outlaws wins no games. Brian, where are you at on this pool?
I've got the same with V. I think V runs away with it. I've got the next 3 teams. I've just got them all splitting. I've got 2-2 for the next 3 teams, Brola, Bombays, and TBDAF. I just think there's going to be – I think those 3 teams are just going to beat up on each other. Bombays, they're a team, man. No one really looks at them. No one really takes them extremely seriously, but they're always in it. You know, they hang around, man. They play tough. They beat us in pool in Denver. Play WAKA, quite a bit at home from what I understand. So they get the game, they get the strategy. But I think they might slip a couple games. They're missing their circuit charger. He's on SOFA, their main charger for circuit. So I don't know how they're going to do, without their main triangle guy. So I've just got those teams beating up on each other, and Outlaws just got a tough draw. I think any other pool they might win one, but I don't know if they can win a game in this pool.
My assumption for Bombay's is that they put Emmett at charger, and he fills in. And apologies to them, but every time I say they will do well, which I've done 3 times this year, immediately after they lose the next fucking game, because every time after round of 8 I watch them and they do fantastic.
You are the curse.
I am the curse, so I won't say that they're going to do well, but they've played well all season. JJ, what are your opinions?
Well, for Pool A, I feel like Flying B is going to eat tasty cakes all the way to 4-0 to wrap it up.
Tasty cakes?
Surprise! I think Bombay is actually going to come out as the 2 seed in this one. They've been doing pretty well, as you mentioned before. They're doing well this. Been doing well this year so far. They got a little kicked in the teeth in the SCKO, which I kind of feel like they're giving them a little bit of a reboot, especially when they lost to a bunch of the available teams, which was mostly made of their team specifically. So I think this could be a tourney that would actually turn it around for them and actually come up pretty big. And for the rest and I have Outlaws not winning a game, unfortunately. I agree, it's a tough draw. Played them in SCKO, and they're a good team, but I think it's just a bad draw for them overall. And I don't really know much about TBDAF, but if Brick says that has some solid players, then I can see that possibly causing some contention and making some people upset if they lose to them too.
I mean, Lato's been putting together a Avails team in circuits all season as they do well. So they know. I mean, they've been in elims every single time, and so it's a lot of experience there for this year. Why is that? Why are they labeled as Austin, Texas?
I do not know that.
Because they won the Austin. They made the Austin Regional. That's where they qualified out of. If we're not Jacksonville, then it's probably because we have an established history that they don't really come from a team, despite there being some DNA from 15. But
it's like a bunch of people that wish they lived in Austin.
Okay.
Yeah, probably.
I'm definitely curious to see who charges and pitches for TBDAF. I don't see a lot of pitching depth behind Brett. That might be where they run into a problem. And I feel like they have 3 or 4 really good catchers, but maybe not like a big name charger that you might expect. I know Vinny was on the regional team, but he can't make it. He has a family wedding or something that he had to go to. So, I mean, they have Ray that can, charge. He's pretty good. A little underrated, I think, but I've never seen him charge with the big red ball and can carry the load all day. So that's my big question with those guys. We'll see how they mesh with the triangle.
One of the things y'all mentioned, you're worried about Bombays and you're worried about TBDAF without a charger. I mean, I think everybody's forgetting that WAKA gives you one extra guy. So I know Bombays in the past is you used a double charger, in circuit where you got 6. So that may be kind of a leveling factor here for some of these teams that may not have your typical, top tier guy over there. I mean, you can easily put 2 and get just the same results as if you had a solid guy, because you don't lose anything in the outfield. So
y'all aren't worried about Brola at all?
Who?
Truthfully, I wouldn't think so.
No.
Having seen them play a couple times this year, I saw them in Nashville, and it looked like a bit of a shit-ass mess. They could very well show up, play well, kick well. I mean, it would not totally shock me, but based off everything I've seen this year, I'd say no.
Such a waste.
This roster is much different.
Good female squad. Not take advantage of that.
This isn't their circuit roster at all. Like it is, but they have some.
Jenna, Sydney, Benny. I mean, they've got good pieces. It seems like.
I mean, their guys are solid too. I mean, that team.
Well, yeah, I know. And Cody's a good catcher.
Yeah, well, they're leading dibs last year. We had a 2-out inning where we scored a couple runs and were able to, I would say, sneak through that game. But they've got Fogarty pitching. They've got the new guy they've got. He's a pretty decent lefty. They've got Derek, who was another lefty who hasn't played at all this year. I think he retired after last year. Doug Rourke, who can play pretty much every position, on top of Cody being, a new charger, and they're normal guys. So I mean, this is going to be, you've got 4 or 5 guys that would have probably started on their starting defense in Nashville that weren't even there. So, take that for what it's worth, where you can overlook them one way or the other.
Definitely
offense
overlook them. They can. It's going to be one of those teams that's either going to shit the bed or upset. Or not guess it won't be an upset, but maybe get
Feast
some
for
big
fan.
wins in the lens or something. So
They'll either go quietly or make a lot of noise.
Well, how deep do they make it into? How deep did they make it into the region, into their WAKA regional?
They won.
They won it. Okay.
They outlasted the other 5 teams that were there.
Which one was that?
The New Orleans regional. Believe it or
And
not,
was there decent competition though? That's the thing. Like, was it good
teams?
And were they serving whiskey on the field?
I honestly, I didn't know there was a regional until after I saw the picture posted. So
okay.
I don't believe so. I want to say it was shortly. It was maybe a couple weeks or like a month after the New Orleans tournament. So it's hard to get people to go back.
We're moving on to Pool B.
Cool. Yeah, let's stick on time. Okay, so Pool B, moving in 2 seed, 5 YP, 5 years played, 9 Care Bears, 12 Brew Crew, 19 Sonics, 22 the Tyrannical Teabaggers. Brick, 5 YP, comments, questions. In theory, you two and them are the big seeds. What are your opinions of them? What do you know about them? What's their roster? They've got the availables roster from Circuit. Comments, questions,
so they're
thoughts?
definitely a big team. They have a ton of people. And just to correct it, and I'm doing this for Jamie and Curtis, so it's a 5-year plan, not 5 years played.
Thank you for the clarification.
Jamie and Curtis are getting married in Vegas after being engaged in Vegas, I think right before the finals game when they were on Sitch. And here they are 5 years later, just now getting married. So that's the
congratulations to them.
Indeed,
the info behind their name. But
L'chaim.
super stacked team. They're a team that's gonna have more of an issue of figuring out who to play rather than maybe the combination. They've got anybody that you could want at any position. It's just who's going to actually be out there when the time counts, and are they going to overthink things too much?
Who is the acting captain? Do we know that?
So I believe Curtis is acting as captain. This is his big day and the last day that he'll be calling the shots, apparently. after the marriage. Jamie will take over that role.
Joey, comments on 5YP?
I mean, as far as I know, well, I guess I didn't look at the roster. They're just another stacked roster. They've got a bunch of veterans, a bunch of all-stars, a bunch of guys who've won a lot of stuff.
You played with a lot of guys these years on availables, correct? Or this year?
Yeah, I guess a couple times.
Few of them,
more
Jimmy.
than I had. Yeah, more than I had before. Yeah, I think at one point I said I refused to play on availables team because I hated everyone else so much. Played online availables since then. Yeah, so I have them as 4-0 in this pool. Matt, you're Care Bears, right?
Yeah, no, I got Care Bears. Brian, any comments on 5YP?
Wow. I mean, I was going to talk about the rest of the pool. Are we just talking about 5YP or what?
No, I was just giving you a chance. Please take your time.
I'm just going to go ahead and tell you what I think about the pool real quick.
Talk the field. Yeah.
I'll talk a little more about relax when we get to it. But I think 5YP is going to go 4-0 just like B. I think I have your pool as a little mix-up, Matt. I have y'all getting upset by the teabaggers.
Not me, but yes.
What?
Not me, but some of my teammates. Yes,
okay,
yes,
gotcha,
yeah,
gotcha,
totally, yeah.
See you, dude. All right. So I have the teabaggers getting a little upset on the Care Bears. And y'all.
They can kick. Let's be clear.
They can, and they've got. I know most of the people on the team that's been like they've played kickball forever. They're just kind of like.
They were at Founders 5 years ago.
I mean, they know they're the B or C squad of Austin, I guess. But Dre will be charging probably for their team, and then we got James Knight pitching for them. I love James. I love most of the guys on the team, but they're probably not going to make it to the limbs, I guess.
It's a tough pool.
Yeah. Anyways, after 5YP. Care Bears, y'all gonna make it. I have y'all getting upset, but T-Burgers and the rest is just kind of a wash. I have Sonics being 0-4, by the way. That's it.
Are those is that the South Bay Sonics team?
I don't. I mean, all I could do is look at their roster, and I don't know anyone on the whole team.
Okay, yeah.
Yes, that is most of them.
All right.
Comments on Pool B, JJ?
Yeah. I mean, it's been reiterated. It's been said before, but yeah, 5YP, a lot of veterans, a lot of good pitching. I caught a couple videos today of their regional play, and it's pretty much solid everywhere. So it's gonna be hard to figure out who's gonna be playing at the right time, as Brick mentioned before. I see them easily rolling through, but it comes down to how they play after the pool play is over with. Care Bears. I also see a couple of videos, seen some video on them as well. A lot of solid players, and I've heard a lot of veterans as well. So, but at the end of the day, can't really tell much about them. Just saw a couple of videos I've seen, but I think this pool has some opportunity for a couple upsets. I have Sonics actually went upsetting Care Bears.
It's bold.
We have different teams upsetting the Care Bears.
But I mean, hey,
they make them unhappy.
I mean, everybody has had one kind of upset. So that's my like very sneaky upset. But at the end of the day, though, I think that 5YP is definitely going to be hammered through, no problem. Lost Bruce Crew, they've been pretty decent. I think they've been on and off for a little bit, but overall, this is pretty much 5YPs to lose. But that's all I got to say about that.
Before we hit Brian to talk about Brew Crew, and then I'll follow up with Care Bears. Brick, just in general, your predictions on Pool B. What do you expect to happen there? I assume you take 5YP clear out. Thereafter, what?
Yeah, no, I'll take 5YP, but they're going to go 3-1. They're going to slip up. Not going to get their offense going in a game, and actually, I'll give them a tie. They'll go 3-0-1. And then Gene will get really unhappy and he'll chug a Powerade and they'll probably win five straight after that. But yeah, the rest of I think Care Bears will do just fine. Is the CB not playing with Brew Crew?
Not from what I know.
Interesting. Okay. I mean, that definitely hurts him. Yeah, I don't know. They're such a Jekyll and Hyde team. I feel like they always do better in WAKA. Maybe it's the cotton, Kelly green shirts. But yeah, no, I don't really have an opinion on that pool other than 5YP tying one game.
These cotton shirts are so fun, are so comfortable. What are you talking about? I love these things.
I have honestly seen so many homeless people in Austin walking around in WAKA kickball shirts. Not joking. Those things go straight to Goodwill here.
At least keeping somebody warm.
Brian, comments on Brew Crew and your predictions?
Predictions. I'm going 4-0 with a 5-year plan. They have all the pieces. I feel like Gene and Trey run together more than they do with their normal team, so their chemistry is on point. They're always tough to play, and they have the depth, pitching depth and depth everywhere to make a deep run. So I'm taking them easily. Care Bears, I've got them taking the 2 out of their pool. I mean, they've had some decent success lately, and can't ignore last year's run. And they don't have the strongest pool outside of their 1 seed. So Brew Crew, I've got them at 2-2, also making the limbs. Teams, I don't have them getting out. Brew Crew, like
LBC.
Someone was just saying they're kind of hit and miss. Sometimes they'll show up and play super tough, and sometimes you just don't know what's going on. I know we can run the dual chargers and everything, but I'm still kind of curious how they're going to do it at Charger overall. Looks like they have Vince back. I don't know if he's healthy. I don't know he's their longtime Charger, from back in the day. At least I think that's the right Vince. He used to be solid, but I know he had some injuries, and I heard he had some kids and some other things. So I think his health and his effectiveness is going to be big for them. I think they have Trejo charging as well. Trejo's pretty good, but I just think they have some depth issues in the infield and maybe in pitching. So I have them beating the lower ranked teams, but not doing much against the top 2. So that's really all I have. They're a good kicking team, not a great bunting team from my experience. They'll kind of kill you on line drives, which is going to be a lot harder, with the red ball, as we all know. So you got to play a little bit of small ball in WAKA. So we're effective on offense.
Matt, what do you have on Care Bears?
Yeah, so to jump to it, looking at Pool B, let's work least interesting to interesting. Obviously, 5YP, I assume they go 4-0. TTT, they've been to Founders Cup a lot of times. I remember them from my first and second years at Founders 5 years ago. Those guys kick well. They know the game. They're not stupid. They won't be a walkover like you might expect from a 22 seed. Sonics, I don't know a huge amount about. Obviously, they're from LA. They have a moderately small roster. I think they have 15 people signed up as of right now. The Brew Crew, as everyone noted, can be Jekyll and Hyde. It always seems like they play great at Founders. They do well in pool play and then die quietly in a limbs. In terms of Care Bears,
Casually saying that.
Say that again.
Just casually digging them.
I'm being honest. They do great in pool play. They're 3-1. They get out. They win a game and then they die quietly.
I love it.
So here's what we know about Care Bears. Care Bears are half a portion of Dufresne's from last year's semifinalist team. They have 6 players from last year's team. They're missing their top 3 players in terms of kicking order. So most of their bunters are gone. They still have 2 huge kickers, especially Andy Zumwalt, probably one of the top first basemen in the country. And I'm looking at you, Claybo, and I'm looking at you, Brick, with Ian. He ranks up with both of those guys. And I don't say that quietly by any stretch of the imagination.
That's
that kid's a beast.
Statement. I like it though.
They certainly have Lars pitching. If Lars is on, he will be throwing gas and be effective. He's an old man. He isn't certainly healthy by any stretch of the imagination at any point in time. But if he's on and he's throwing gas, it'll be trouble for anyone. They also have one other huge kicker in Jake Bailey. He is not a regular kickballer. None of you have seen him before. But he's a New Mexico kid. I knew him in high school. He's an old kid like me, but that kid kicks the ball farther than anyone I've ever seen it. Other things to note, they have two good girls who return, who are well-versed in founders. That's both Kaylin and Brittany. Brittany is an old school founders, 2011 to 2014. She used to play with Hankies. She knows what she's doing. But they are definitely a very top-heavy roster. They have not a lot of reps with each other, and it's a mix-and-match crew. And they are certainly thin in a couple key positions. So it'll be interesting to see how they go through. My bet will be they'll probably play 3 good games. They'll lose quietly to 5YP, go 3-1. And then depending on who they get in the round of 16, either squeak by.
Looks like.
I don't know what you're talking about, Joey.
I mean, look at it. Just go ahead and look at that.
Just the tiny little penis right there.
Oh, what?
So they could certainly be dangerous, and the interesting thing about them will be if Lars is pitching well. They have 2 good pitchers in Lars and Andy, who's a left-hander. He's a bowler, and all left-handers are hard to kick off. They may have 2 very good pitchers and 3 very good kickers, and enough knowledge to be able to make damage. So you might watch out for them.
Where would you say the Care Bears' weak spots are?
The Care Bears' weak spot, it would be that they are top-heavy on the kicking order. Half their girls are not experienced and don't know huge amounts of what to do in certain situations, and they don't have a lot of team unity and cohesiveness. If things go south, it would not shock me if they ended up in 1-3. They should be 3-1, but if they don't get off to a good start and people start sniping, everything will go terrible.
That was a good summary of Care Bears, man. A lot of propaganda there.
Cool. So let's move on to Andy Dufresne's.
Matt, question real quick.
Yes, go ahead, Brick.
So, you mentioned that they were missing like their top 3 from last year. I know when we played y'all in like the Elite 8 or Final 4, y'all were missing 2 or 3 guys from injuries. How similar is the top of the lineup to the team that we played? Or are you talking about in general?
100% different. We lost our 4 kicker, Andy. He blew out his hammy versus Evolution. And he was the one who murdered Sofa in their pool play in Denver when he just cranked it over everyone. So that was the main thing that we missed. We would have taken our chances happily if we would have had him in the lineup. Outside that, our 1 and our 3 kicker are not there. Sean Tagel, who you know and who you've played with, he won't play with them ever again. Matt Atencio, our 3 kicker, jack of all trades, he will not be there. Mike Zubowitz, who played a lot with Dufresne's, real active little fucking half crop top guy. He will not also be there. So they're missing all 3 of the speedy guys. They've still got 2 good bunners, Jake Toppenmiller, Daniel Kniffen. But outside that, they're going to be hard-pressed to put people in position to make gravy when it's time for Andy, Lars, and others to kick. So they'll score by 1s, but not by 2s and 3s.
Maybe that's your tie, Rick.
That's my what?
That's your tie, your 5YP tie. Care Bears.
Yep. I think it could be a 0-0 game.
And it could. There'll be good pitchers there.
Nope.
Yep.
Cool.
Nope.
Okay, so let's jump on to Pool C. Pool C, we start off with Sofa at 3, Relax and Take the D at 8, Dry Heat at 13, Running Rebels at 18, BLVCK Squad at 23. Comments on Sofa, Brian?
Sofa. Well, I know everyone's kind of been hard on Sofa lately, but one thing about Sofa is WAKA is kind of their deal. You know, they're proven in WAKA. They have a knack for the strategy and, you know, moving their defense around in the right spots, and they just seem to do better overall. Plus, they're on paper, I think their roster's one of the strongest it's been that I've seen, anyways, over the years. And like I said earlier, they have Poulin charging from Bombay's. He's got a big arm. They run duels pretty hardcore there. Looks like they've got some of their better bunters. They have Bins back. I faced him in San Diego, and he's as good as ever. he's throwing the ball hard. They've got some good pickups with kickers, and it's a lot different than their circuit team. Kind of like Brola. It's not quite their circuit team. It's their circuit team plus some really good pieces. So I think Sofa's gonna just do really well in this tournament like they always do at Founders. Relax and take the D, I think, is going to challenge them, but I think Sofa will win that game, not by a long shot, but I think they'll squeak it out and then they'll run through the rest of the pool. So that's what I have for Sofa.
Joey will give you first response on that. Feel free to respond and then talk about what you think, your team, where you guys are at.
Oh, you want me to go after that? Talk about Pool C?
Yeah, take it all.
All right. I guess I'll talk about our team quickly. I think we're stacked. All our key positions have almost two people that I would start on most teams. We got Bez coming back to make. I don't know if he's gonna be rusty or not. Hopefully he practices kickball when he's not fishing or something. But I don't think there's much else to do up there.
Has marriage changed him?
Not at all. Zero. Everything is good. Everything's awesome. The wedding was great, but nothing. Just kidding. Bez has changed completely. Let him play circuit again. So we have Bez coming back to charge, which is going to be freaking awesome. We have pitchers galore. I think Ant can pitch, but between Bro and Brandon, we have two really good pitchers. I'm pretty sure Ant will pitch as well. Ant can play charger, catcher, pitcher. He's a utility guy, dude. He really impresses me for all the stuff he can do. I don't even think we should be relaxed and take the D. We should have some sort of Cowtown in our name instead of Big D. Our girls are off the hook. I always get excited about playing with a good group of girls, and we have Tara leading Kat. We got Megan, Shannon. I don't want to miss anybody. Oh God. Oh, and Allie. Allie, of course. So we got. Don't shake your head at me, Britt. It says Alejandra Segura on here, so it took me a second to get Allie, not Ollie. Anyways, I'm pumped about our girls. I think we're stacked. I don't want to talk too much, or else Jimmy will get mad at me because he hates when I overhype our team. But I think we're gonna run through our pool. I don't think Sofa's good. I think they had a good run in Founders, but Brian? You said Benz is looking good. Never mind. Benz is looking good. Sorry, it was Ozier who's not on the team. He was pitching, and we run ruled in the first inning, I believe. We haven't seen Benz in a while, but I think we go 4-0. We always play really well in pool. It's doing something after that, which is a problem for us. So I think we do the same as usual. Take 4-0. I think Sofa's going to go 2-2. I think they're going to lose to Dry Heat and us. I think Dry Heat. That's mostly. That's mostly Roosters, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
I'm more worried about Dry Heat than I am Sofa in our pool, I guess. And then I'm sorry, Rebels. I think you get one win, and then Black Squad. I guess that's supposed to say. What is that supposed to say?
I think it's Black Squad.
Okay, well, Ludwig Good is going 0-4. But
Brian, comments on dry heat. What are your opinions on Pool C?
Dry heat. Yeah, they're pretty much the Roosters, but I guess what Red and Liz are on 5-year plan, which is pretty big on both sides of the ball. Kicking with Red. It looks like they do not have their lefty pitcher either, Derek, who's kind of
Zimmer will
seems
not
like
be
he's
there.
taken over. I don't see Derek on the roster now, and he's kind of taken over their limbs pitching from what I've seen, or at least not to discount Rhodes. Rhodes is always solid, but I think Derek's kind of taken that lead role. He's been throwing the ball great, so he's equally dangerous kicking. He's got a boot on him, so take away one of their stud pitchers and 2 of their better kickers. Just looking at the roster, they look a little lighter than I've seen them in the past. So I don't have them as effective this year.
There's no British either. I mean, that can't be overlooked either.
No shoes. I mean, they don't have fucking shoes. What can you do?
No. And with those puke orange jerseys, I mean, you got to have something to take your eyes off.
That's pumpkin spice orange. Goddamn you.
Pumpkin spice.
Oh my God, yeah. I should know that here in the South. That's every girl's vocabulary.
Brick, any comments on running Rebs? A bunch of old, or at least a few old school OFC people, some Maryland folks, some DC folks.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at the roster. One they seem a little light, typical for what Rebels typically brings. I noticed a couple of Savage Shock names. They'll be a scrappy bunch. I'm pretty sure I saw and Derek, the mainstay guys that kind of run that team. So I mean, they're not going to go out there without a team that can at least hold their own. But I just don't see the typical Rebels firepower that would kind of concern me, and that's probably why they got ranked where they're ranked. Looking at that roster, I mean, 18 kind of seems fitting, but maybe they can put that on their bulletin board and prove me wrong. But definitely don't see them any better than the 3rd seed in this pool. We'll see if SOFA can buck the trend of adding players yet somehow getting worse. I feel like if those guys go back to a lineup or roster they had a couple years ago and just stick with that, I mean, they had all the pieces. It seems like they're gathering up shiny things and not doing any better with them. So love those guys. Hopefully they can prove me wrong there. But who's the number 1 seed in this pool? Oh, it's Relax. Yeah, those guys are great until they get drunk, and then so usually they can get through pool play 4-0. So we'll see what they can do after that, though.
JJ, thoughts on Pool C?
Pool C. Let's see. So Sofa King, definitely a perennial West Coast All-Star team. Every year they add a couple of players that just makes them look more dangerous and more threatening. But will it be enough though? That's the question. They had, like Brick said, they had the pieces a couple of years ago, but they're always tinkering with their roster as any team should. But will it be enough fine-tune adjusting to actually do it again? Actually, my favorite for this poll is actually Relax and Take the D. I have them going 3-0-1, tying with Sofa King, and then they're taking the run differential to take the pool. Dry Heat, yeah, they have potential to, I think, beat Sofa King as well too, being that most of the roster is from Crooked Roosters, and so I think this is definitely a lot more difficult than most people would think. But I think for Relax, I think they have it, and Sofa King just, if they stick to their game plan, I believe, based on the roster, they should be fine. But I think there's some potential for some major upsets here, and I think Dry Heat could definitely do it, but Relax has it.
My comments on Pool C would kind of follow that. I'll take Relax to take the pool. I'll take them at 4-0. Let's go Sofa at 3-1. Dry Heat 2-2. Running Rebels 2-2. I'm gonna assume that both of them will make it out. BLVK squad or Black squad, whatever it may be. General things that I've heard on them is they are talented and top heavy. They have 3 or 4 guys who are very talented. Their girls are less so talented, or at least less situated for high level play. They also have a fairly thin roster that's kind of thin on guys. Dry Heat always plays well at Founders Cup, and that's probably why they end up with the 13 seed. And Sofa certainly can't be ignored, especially because Benz is back and pitching. He always throws well, and that guy kicks like a fucking beast. But I would take Relax out of there, Sofa 2. But I will say that Pool C is definitely the pool of death, and that probably both of the extra wildcard teams will probably come out of there. Moving on to Pool D. Pool D starts off with the 4 seed Pitch Intense, 7 seed Fainting Goats, 14 seed Hazard, 17 seed United, 24 seed Saggy Balls and Dolls. Let's start off with JJ Pitch Intense. You guys coming in strong. Where are you guys at? Are you happy with where you are? And then we'll jump to Brian.
So this is definitely a really precarious pool. I like Pitch Intense. We're coming in pretty good for most part the same roster as we did last year. We have a couple adjustments we had to make. Joe Kennedy, one of our Chargers, recently had surgery, so he's out for the time being. But we do have an up and coming Charger in the sport of kickball. His name is Tommy Hale, and he's actually probably has potential to be one of the top Chargers in the league, at least on the East Coast.
That's a big claim right there.
Hey, I'm telling you.
Don't fuck it up, Tommy Hale.
The hailstorm. But we're missing a couple of people potentially due to weddings. But at the end of the day, though, I think this is definitely it's not going to be easy pool, because I feel that Fading Goats has an outstanding year so far. Made it, I think, 4 finals this year, with one in Portland, taking that one down. And I see Hazard being a team from Florida. They had a lot of veterans on that team, a lot of new people. They're also, I feel like they're kind of like a dark horse team that actually can cause some damage in this pool, especially, and if they make it to limbs. Actually, I see them coming out of the limbs. So overall, I think this is definitely there's no easy call out, but I think I have Fading Goats coming out on top with that, followed by Pitch Intense.
Brian, comments on Pool D?
I'll start with Pitch Intense since they're the higher seed. They've been playing well lately, and like you said, that Charger's the real deal, man. He's new, he's still kind of raw, you can tell, but I've faced him, I think once, maybe twice now, and I've seen him play a couple more times, and he's got a cannon. He's going to be something if he keeps at it. So he's made them exponentially better, in my opinion. Then we have us. We're on paper. Paper means nothing, but on paper we have one of the better squads for Founders. We have pretty much our full circuit squad, but we've never run this roster to Founders yet, because Founders has always been kind of split with the Vegas teams. But we kind of consolidated, and we have talents joining us, one of which being Charger in first base. So they both just add a lot of depth. So our triangle has so much depth. So I'm pretty excited about.
How many people are you bringing, Brian?
I want to say I've got 18 or 19. Just a lot. So just a lot of depth. I mean, we're a good spot on paper, but again, we got to hope it all comes together. But I've got us taking the pool. I think our hard fought game is going to be Pitch Intense. They always play tough, and they got us. I think last year they took us in Nashville, so that's going to be a tough game. But I think we got it. Hazard, Hazard's kind of hit and miss. I think they're still trying to put it together. I've got them going 2-2, or I'm kind of split, like 2-2 or 1-3. United is the 4 seed, but they're kind of like that rubber ducky team. They've got some of those players. They're a Charger, they're a pitcher. They could come in and steal one, from really anybody if anybody takes them lightly. either 2 and 2 or 1 and 3. I think them or Hazard will get out of Pool D. And Saggy Balls, I just don't know who they are. I don't recognize the name, so I couldn't 0 and 4 for them just because I don't know them. But that's about it.
Hey, Brian.
Brick, comments on Hazard, Pool D in general?
Yeah, I got a couple questions. Brian, who's y'all's number 2 pitcher now? I feel like you found one, but I can't remember who he is.
So our number 2 pitcher right now is going to be Damon.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he's probably our number 2 right now. We've had a couple of really I don't know if we don't typically roll a true number 2. It's kind of by committee after Pat. But Damon
been the issue.
Damon's kind of emerged lately as a solid number 2 for us, and he throws the red ball pretty well. I think I personally think he's a little more talented with the red ball, I think he has a better command with the red ball than he does with the circuit ball. So I like him as our number 2, and then we have some guys that can throw that'll just eat up some innings for us. So I'm not really worried about our depth.
Yeah, that was my wild card with Goats. I couldn't remember who they had, but I think if they've got a number 2 or a number 2 in committee that can help get them through pool play without having to rely on Pat, it gives them a better chance, moving forward. But I mean, when you got pitch intense and you got Hazard as your 3 seed, not many easy games there. Does anybody have Hazard's? Mike Bolton and Tyler.
Ooh.
Does anybody remember that?
No.
I see Tyler. I don't see a Bolton.
Yeah, I see Tyler. Yeah.
Just one.
Okay. I'm surprised Mike's missing this one. I mean, that guy's been pretty much every tournament this year, it seems like. If they do have both those guys, I mean, I think Hazard. I mean, they were a tough out for us in Jacksonville. I almost see this pool could easily flip flop. I mean, I think pitch intense is probably my 3 seed coming out of this pool. That's nothing against him. I just think that Goats and Hazard are pretty solid, and after playing Hazard, they get the extra benefit of throwing Amanda Z over there at first base, and you've got an all-guy outfield, and Carvis he can be wild and erratic at catcher, but for the most part, I mean, that guy's about as locked down as you can. It really just depends on how they're playing. I think they'll be a little more focused coming out of GKO after not even making out a pool play, but I wouldn't discount those guys at all. So I think this is where you're going to see a big shakeup, and I wouldn't be surprised if PI ends up getting the 3 seed and barely sneaking out of there with Goats and Hazard in some sort of formation 1 or 2.
Joey, thoughts on Pool D?
First of all, dude, Matt, you've got like a solid NPR voice.
It's gravelly. It's well honed with a lot of cigarettes and other inhalants.
Well, congrats on that. This is the pool. It has a bunch of teams I know basically nothing about, and then one team I know a shit ton about. It was the Van Goats. I have pitch and test going 3-1. I have them losing to the Goats. I have the Goats going 3-1. I have them slipping up against Hazard. I have Hazard going 1-3-0 with their win against the Goats, but then losing to everybody else. Well, no, not Saggy Balls. Oh no, I effed actually both these last pools up.
So 2 and 2 for Hazard. 2 and 2.
Yeah, anyways, I think that there's going to be a couple upsets between the top 3 there. I have one, I guess, hope for Pool D, and I hope United gets a win because I noticed that Patty Colum was on that team. I like Patty a lot. I hope he gets himself a win, but I don't see them doing much else, I guess. Maybe he gets a win and takes a shot at Fireball and is happy.
I mean, I personally think that this group has the most potential for parity. Like there's definitely it's definitely a toss up. There's a lot of good people in the squad, a lot of good teams, a lot of name recognition as far as upcoming teams with Hazard. But overall, though, I feel like like any pool, you can't sleep on any of these teams. But I think just talent wise overall, it definitely can cause a stir, and it definitely be some. It could be like a wish wash of who knows, but it's definitely going to make for an interesting pool indeed that day.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Just looking at Pool D, I take Fainting Goats clearing at 4-0. I take Pitch Intense at 3-1. I take Hazard and United both being 2-2, and Saggy Balls going 0-4. United actually, they had a very nice run at San Diego. It's most of the same people who were there on Rubber Duckies, and those guys played well. They have a nice charger. They have a very tall, efficient catcher, and all their people played well. So they certainly should not be overlooked. Hazard is certainly feast or famine. If Cabo's on, then they look well, and if they're kicking well, they do well. So those are generally my thoughts on that. Moving on to Pool E, we have Shockwave at 5, Dibs/Dice at 6, Toronto Blow Truckers of Simi at 15, Chow Chow at 16, and For Fox's Sake at 25. Rick, comments on Shockwave coming out of the South at number 5?
Yep, so Shockwave will come out of the South at number 5, and they'll be playing somebody in the finals.
Period.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go look at their roster, and Jermaine's been back playing competitive kickball for 3 tournaments, and his teams have made 3 finals. So I'm not saying they're going to win or lose in the finals, but they'll be there.
So they're bringing the heat. Following that up would be Dibs, Dibs/Dice, last year's finalists, pardon me, and the prior year's semifinalists. They have almost everyone on their roster from the previous year, with the exception of Mr. Fawcett. But that includes Matt, Joe, the other Graffin brother. They've got all their girls. Even Whitney's on the roster. They've not necessarily had a great season circuit-wise, but those guys always play well at Founders. They do well. It's a short tournament from them. In terms of travel, they bring all of their people, so they'll show up well. Toronto Blow Truckers of Simi. Those are kind of the leftover California kids. A lot of decent players, but they are the ones who are not on, let's say, Sofa or Gordon or any of their teams. Tony F will be joining them off of at least 5 different teams this season, but that kid's always an offensive weapon, so it'll be interesting to see what they have to do. And for some reason in Founders, I think they've had 1-run games with Shockwave for the last 3 years, so it'll be tight. Chow Chow is basically NorCal Nightmare. It's Wilson Chow's last game, last team, last tournament. He's an old school kid out of California. Give love to him. And then For Fox's Sake comes out of Seattle. They're actually captained by Dan P., ex-Sofa pitcher. They have a halfway decent roster. I think they've got Brian from Taco Cat, Chris Labrum from Gargoyles, Dandy and Mel Mint from Dufresne's, Daphne from Haboobs. So they have some people who know what they're doing. They won't be a walkover, but it's a tough spot for them. Coming out of that pool, I would certainly take Shockwave. They're going to go 4-0. Dibs 3-1. And then it would be, in my opinion, that none of the other teams make it out of pool play from there. Brian, what are your thoughts on Pool E?
Oh, man. Outside of Shockwave and Dibs, I don't have a clue. I don't recognize a lot of these names. I looked at the rosters, and I just don't know anybody. So I just kind of went by the rankings and just kind of guessed. So I couldn't really pick one over Shockwave and Dibs. I just had them both 3-0-1. I have that for my only tie of the day. 2-2 for Toronto, 1-3 for Chow, and 0-4. I just went down the list, and assigned a number. Excuse me. Shockwave and Dibs. Shockwave is loaded, but like you said, Dibs they always play well, with WAKA, and they have the triangle, they have the kickers, they have maybe not a lot of depth, but they have all the necessary pieces. And Shockwave, I mean, I don't know if they had Tremaine for the regional, but they seem to have a tough time scoring at the regional. Pitch Intense beat them in their regional.
They didn't. They've got a brand new 1 and 2 from the regional. So
do they? Okay. So yeah, I don't really know the differences in the roster, but I'm just going off of that. So I got them split in the pool.
Cheaters.
I think at 3-0-1, I think it comes down to runs against, to see who takes that pool. I think I gave the edge to Shockwave for the tiebreak, with Dibs coming in at 2.
I'm pretty sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. Shockwave didn't even have Los for the regional? Bez was charging for him, wasn't he? Bez and
correct. Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, Los was not there.
Yeah, that was a really hodgepodge group right there. So
you're saying Bez instead of Los hurt Shockwave?
Sorry, say again. Bez is better than Los?
I said. See, so are you saying Bez hurt Shockwave over having Los there?
Bez had some big shoes to fill. I've seen Los's feet, so take that for what it's worth.
Bez is a far better charger than Los.
Oh, most definitely.
JJ, your thoughts on Pool E?
Pool E, yeah, this is pretty much straight. I think Shockwave definitely has the prowess to take it all in this situation, especially for just based on roster alone. Trey being here is definitely a big X factor for them as well. Just to have the experience and like his capability as a player overall definitely is a tide churner. Dibs, they've been there. They have even their combination of teams, but they definitely are a WAKA built team, and they've had the experience and the know-how to get the players in the right spots and actually get that momentum to help them push towards a good Founders Cup run. As far as the other teams go, yeah, I really don't know any of these people or these team names, so I can't really say. So after that point, for me, just in general, I think it's going to come down to Shockwave going 4-0, and then Dibs losing 1, but I can't say the specific to who, just because of maybe just like a mental error or brain fart or something like that. But as far as Pool E goes, yeah, it just comes down to Shockwave and Dibs at this point.
Joey, thoughts on Pool E?
Yeah, definitely what JJ said, Shockwave and Dibs, but I think Dibs is a far better team than Shockwave. I think Dibs should they're going to end up 4-0 in this pool. Shockwave's going to have 1 loss to them, but I think the discrepancy after the 5-6 again, or they're in their pool after the 1-2 in their pool, is pretty huge, and it's anyone's game after that, I guess. But yeah, I like Dibs a lot better than Shockwave in that pool, and I think they'll be more successful in this tournament.
And I feel that to carry off you, I feel that if Dib faces Shockwave off early in the actual day, I think they can get that game easily on top of Shockwave, because I feel like Shockwave takes a little bit to
That's totally true. Yes.
Yeah.
If they get them first or second, it'll be a different thing.
Exactly. So I think the daily schedule is definitely could play in Dib's favor at that point.
The schedule's not out yet?
No, it has not been released yet.
Jeez. I mean, what are these people doing?
Probably tomorrow. The roster will go live tomorrow, and my assumption would be schedules will come out hopefully tomorrow, if not Wednesday. Okay, so quick thoughts before we just take a short break will be let's take bets on who would everyone take for the highest seed to not make it into a limbs, and who would be the lowest seed who will make it into a limbs. Brian, we'll let you start off first.
I have, where are my notes at? High seed did not make a limbs. I know some of you guys didn't agree with this earlier, but I think dry heat, just because of a little bit of lack of depth, better kickers not being there, and just that and being in a tough pool. I think running Rebels is going to be a sneaky team that's going to upset some people. So I'm taking Dry Heat as my high seed that doesn't make it out. And I think the lowest seed to make a limbs is pretty simple, in my opinion, with TBD AF. I think that's a given for me.
Then it should just be, you should just say TBDAF and Gordon Bombay's. Or someone on a pool, because it's gonna take Brola or Gordon Bombay's out, right?
No, in theory, 4 can make it from one pool. Yes.
Okay.
Right.
Because the top 2 from everybody, and then the 6 next best teams.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Pool A is my pool to have 4 out. So.
Brick, you highest seed not to make it, lowest seed that will make it.
Well, I was gonna hop on the TBDAF, but to make this interesting, we'll pick somebody else. What seed is Hazard?
Hazard is 14.
14?
1-4.
All right. So, all right, my highest seed or lowest seed to make it out, I'm gonna go with the Toronto Blow Truckers
Of Simi.
of Simi, yeah, the Simi variety, not the West Simi Valley. What seed are they?
15.
No, fuck, then they should make it out. God damn it. I don't know. Shit. All right. Well, I'm going TBDAF. Sorry. Oh no. I'll go with United. They got a lot of fire breathing.
They're 17, man. They're 17.
17. That's a stretch. Okay, so it's a stretch to see them make it out. One spot. And then I'll go with I'll go big, and I'll back up my original claim earlier that that PI ends up being the 3 seed out of their pool, and I'll say they're the highest ranked seed to not make it out.
JJ, we'll let you respond.
That's
highest
bullshit.
to not make it, lowest to out.
That is bullshit. I'm just kidding. Hey, this is all we have. This is why we all have opinions, right? So, respect it. You say your 2 cents. I gotta say my 2 cents.
Oh, it's probably wrong. I'll be honest with you.
Hey,
Take V, JJ. V will not make it out. Take it.
I'm not that cocky, okay? Mama didn't raise his own fool. So for my lowest seed to make it in, I'm actually putting a little some faith into Hazard. So I think Hazard can definitely, as a 14 seed, can definitely put her up with some feathers and get them in. But that's completely dependent on if they are clicking together and Kavess is just going after it as a catch and things. And like it depends on chemistry at that point, because Bricks mentioned that they came off GKO, not make it to the limbs. So I think there's definitely gonna be a very good motivator for them to square things away and get things right with them. And this is definitely a tournament that can actually get that done. Highest team to not make it. I'm gonna have to say it's a tough one for me, but I'm gonna say Brolo's not gonna make it out.
Damn you, fucker!
You don't have to be original. I think the glaring one is TBDAF to make it, and the Bombay is not to make it. I don't think it's gonna be Brola. I think the Bombay is.
I don't know. I think Brolo has. I think Bombay has been, even though they have had some. They've been lackluster for the last few years, but I think this is the tournament where they actually make some. This is the year they've actually proven some people wrong. So
yeah, I mean they beat us in limbs, or they have his teams in limbs, 78. So that's pretty embarrassing. But I still think
So I will follow that up, and actually I think Pool A is definitely going to be the murder pool. I'll take TBDAF to be the 20 seed as the highest seed to make it into a limbs. And I will take Brola to be the team that will not. I think Bombay's will beat them. So go ahead and fuck me on that again, Bombay's. But I think Brola will not make it out. TBDAF will. So that would be mine. Before we get to Final Four predictions, finals predictions, and other such things, just talking briefly about social events. Obviously, there's a lot going on this weekend. Unofficial social events, first off the top, would be, if I'm correct, there is a poker tournament, which would be Wednesday or pardon me, Thursday night. Anyone who is interested in that should probably get in touch with Tyler, if I'm correct. I want to say he's there, even though he's not playing, but he will be running that. As well, there is a darts tournament somewhere throughout the evening. I believe Matt Smook knows about that. Smook will also be running the Milk Challenge, which I believe will be Sunday morning at 11. I know confirmed participants will be Eric Davis, and I think Farzi is going to try again.
Isn't there a girl? There's a girl doing it too.
Is there?
I thought so. Someone help me out here.
Who's
I vaguely recall what you're talking about, Rick. I think she's. This is like Facebook dialogue. I think I know what you're talking about.
Who is it, Callie?
There's a West Coast girl. No.
I don't know.
Brian, I want to say it was one of your girls.
I think it was you, Brian.
Okay, so apparently a girl will be trying the Milk Challenge. I'm sure Asian viewership will be very high for that in that case. I don't know why anyone thinks that's funny. You all are rotten individuals, all of you, all four of you. Let's see. Organized social events. There is a Level Up, if I'm correct, is Thursday night. And that is at the MGM. Hakkasan and One Oak are Friday night. That's MGM and Mirage. Omnia and Vanity, Caesar's Palace and the Hard Rock will be the Saturday night events. And then Vinyl Sunday night and CDO Monday Last Partiers, both of those at Hard Rock. The pool parties will be Rehab, Breathe, Wet Republic, and then Liquid. For anyone who's going, the pool parties are always some of the most fun. After you get done with the tourney on Saturday, go to the pool party. The Sunday pool party is an absolute party. That's probably the biggest event. Other featured entertainment will be R. Kelly, Kings of Leon, Incubus, and Magic Mike Live, for those of you who are interested in live shows. Anyone have anything grand to say about any of those events?
Is the R. Kelly show like a P show? Is that what the deal is? Like,
I was gonna ask, is that a joke?
That's a private show. That's a private show. You may have to pay extra for that.
Dude, he's played a few times here in Austin. Well, no, Tom Halleck went to the R. Kelly show recently. I think like for his birthday or something. Ask him about it.
It'll be at the pool party, right?
Oh no.
Hey, by the way, the Milk Challenge is just Eric doing it.
No, I've actually gotten verification from Smoke, Fars, and Allison will be doing
it after this weekend.
Allison,
there's
a girl. You're welcome.
They're doing it after this weekend.
Oh, but not this weekend. So it'll just be Eric all alone
during Founders Cup.
So it'll be a private Vegas shame party. Okay, usually got to pay good money for that, but I guess he gets it for free.
I don't know why all these people are doing no challenges, but I'll watch it.
Okay, so let's jump back into elimination predictions, Final Fours. Before we pick Final Fours, let's take a dark horse pick. Anybody with picks outside the top 8 who you think will, or at least possibly could win it? I will lead this off outside the top 8. I will give the Djokovic kiss of death to Bombay's. I think Bombay's could win it. They've made it to semifinals in at least 3 tournaments this year, and maybe they might pull it off. Joey, I see your incredulity slipping through, so let's let you respond first.
More of a disagreement, but I mean, I guess that's what a dark horse is. I mean, the team you expect to win the least out of the whole tournament.
So every team above you. You cannot pick yourself. Every team above you.
Okay. Am I picking a dark horse now?
Yes.
I mean, to win it, TBDAF is not going to win it. I would probably say Dry Heat outside the top 8. That's going to be mine. I know that goes. That was against Brian. Yeah, Brian doesn't agree with me on that one. Get out of here. You don't even know what you're talking about.
Okay, so let's take Brian to respond. Brian, you're a team outside the top 8 that you think could possibly win it.
Ooh.
He wants to pick dry.
I'm probably gonna go. I'm gonna go with either or Rebels outside the top 8. Just looking at those teams, those are the. I mean, Bombay's is in there in discussion, but I think like TBDAF and Running Rebels, they both just have the speed to play at small ball. You know, get on base and manufacture runs. What it's all about. So I'll say TBDAF just because I know that roster a little bit better. I know their speed. I'll go with them.
Brick, let's go for you. A team outside the top 8 you think could possibly win it.
Rolla.
Okay.
Done.
JJ, your thoughts?
So if United actually does have that rubber ducky like they did for the SEKO, and then use that as an intimidating factor, and just completely mind fucks everybody.
That was a large duck. Let's be clear.
Oh yeah, that thing was massive, by the way. But honestly, their roster was definitely surprising when I saw them play, and like if they had that kind of chemistry and catch people on the wrong foot, they could potentially make it. I can see them making it to at least the finals and winning it. If everything plays right to them and they have that duck.
Yeah, that team is a prime example of what one East Coast player can do to a team.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jeremy Burke.
So
You're gonna get muted, Brick. You're gonna get muted.
Jeremy Burke took everything he knows from Gorilla Juice Heads and obviously carried that team on his back.
Yeah, because
I'm
Gorilla
not sure
Juice
if
Heads
he-
were so
Yeah,
good.
because
They've
Mike
always
is
been
a
so
strategic
clowny
genius.
Hey,
Garbage.
don't argue with facts.
Garbage.
How many times have you beaten
I can't even
GGH?
tell
Brick?
you how hard I'm staring at your small little square.
We've never lost to them. So it's been like 7, maybe. I don't know.
Okay.
After we run ruled them in Jacksonville, we decided not to even pick them, even though they're still available during the captain's draft.
Salty. Okay, so
Whiskey's getting the brick a little bit.
before we hit Final Four predictions and who we think will win, let's hit rules real quick. General rules to note. Founders Cup / tournament rules will be in effect. There will be a 3-strike, 3-foul, 4-ball rule. It will not be the usual WAKA regular season 4-foul rule. Excuse me. The mysterious gray zone will always be in effect as per usual. Anything fielded in that magical area may or may not be called foul, so I would suggest playing everything out from there. As well, the 2-base walk is in effect for all 4-pitch walks. Anyone have any questions on rules, any comments on rules, anything along those lines? Knee balls will be live for the first time as opposed to last year. Anyone have any comments on those issues?
Yeah, hip down is good. We've got subs. Subs are legal this year.
Yes, sub rule. That is correct. Thank you. Can you explain that, Brian?
Well, that's all I know.
That was gonna be my
They're
question.
legal. I don't know if the breakdown has been published yet. I don't know if they've.
Brick, can you clarify this? This will work a lot closer to regular circuit rules, as some of us know it, as opposed to Founders Cup rules, where you always had to kick 5 girls in case one of your girls got injured. Correct?
I can tell you all about the circuit rule all you want, but they haven't come out with a WAKA one yet, and I'm curious about what it's going to be because I haven't heard other than of all the ones that they wanted to approve, that's the one that is going to be implemented, but they haven't given any specifics on it.
It was my assumption that there will be some ability to substitute out an injured female so that you can only kick 4. Again,
so it won't
as
have
you,
anything to do with male.
I do not want to be quoted on this, and I do not know this sure, but that was the way that I was understood to believe it. Until I see it in print, no one should go off that. The old rule being you always had to have 5 girls on your roster in case one of your girls got injured, because if they did at Founders Cup, you would be DQ'd because you would not be allowed to substitute in a girl.
Correct.
According to some Facebook post, that rule will be tweaked and amended to not make that an effect, but that has not been explicitly stated yet, so you should not bank on that until you see that from either Brent or Saul.
Very cool.
Any other rules notes? Cool. Let's jump on to Final Four predictions and who you think will win. Let's go left to right. Brian, you get to start first. Pick your Final Four. Who do you think the finals will be, and who do you think will win?
Say Brick or Brian?
Brian.
Brian.
Final Four. I've got Flying V, Goats, 5-year plan, and Dibs. That is all based on my standings predictions and where they fall into their bracket placement. So that's all. That's using the template for the bracket. So that's how the quarters kind of worked out. So I've got us beating V in the semis. It's our local tournament. We're coming to win it, man. So I don't think V or anyone's going to stand in our way this time. And I've got Dibs taking 5-year plan. I think they've got the chemistry. They've got the small ball ability. I think their cohesiveness and their chemistry as an established team is going to get them by a 5-year plan. And I've got us beating Dibs in the finals.
Good deal. Mr. Fawcett, your prediction, sir.
Oh, wow. We jumped all the way over here. Got it. I was waiting.
Why is JJ's
So I've
thing
already
sound good?
So what?
Why did say that? How'd you do that? I want to do that.
JJ always talks. Even when everyone else is talking, JJ's talking.
I'm good.
Very true.
All right, sorry,
So
Brett.
I'll go. No, you're fine. You're fine. I'll go with. I got Shockwave in the final, so I'll put them in the final four because that's the previous step to get there. I did not go as far as Brian did as far as following the template, so these may make no sense. But I've got Gordon Bombay's in the final four. I don't know what it is. We'll see. They seem to just randomly do well. Ever since they picked up that next lefty pitcher.
We got some feedback.
Yeah.
That's you, Cleveland.
It's not me, is it?
Sorry, my
Go ahead, Brett.
doing something weird. Okay, so Shockwave Bombay's. I'm gonna go with 5YP and the Relax Knuckleheads that team, and I've got 5YP beating Shockwave in the finals.
JJ, what you got?
Actually, Shockwave.
So the Swami, also known as Tasty Cakes, also known as JJ.
Taste cakes?
Taste Cakes. I see my final four is as follows. I have Shockwave coming down in the final four. Let's see, we have Flying V as well. And then I have Fainting Goats. As well, I also have 5YP. I have Shockwave going against, well, if this is how it ends up being, I have Shockwave going against Flying V, with Flying V taking that one. And then I have Goats against 5YP, obviously, and I have 5YP taking that, with Flying V taking the chip. I mean, those, I feel those squads are definitely, on paper, probably the best squads thus far, and they can, if they're clicking all right, I feel like that could be like a jam-packed Final Four. So it's definitely very interesting to see if that works out that way.
Joey, what you got?
Right. Well, I filled out a bracket so you can see it, and you can record this for perfection later on. Go ahead and screenshot that bad boy real quick, and then I'll tell you about it. Well, first of all, I think I took this off of, I think, what?
Brent's. It's how it goes according to seed. Yeah.
Yeah, according to seed, except I took off Bombay's and added TBDAF, and there's 11 spots. That's how it would work, right? They would take their 11 spot seed.
Yes, that is correct.
And then I have them losing dibs right off the bat anyway, so that 11 spot seed is kind of irrelevant. My final four is, well, I will say another little part about this part of the bracket. I think it's incredibly weak down here, and this is the easiest part of the bracket. And that's why I think Shockwave can make it to the final four. I don't think they will, but I think that they can.
You're out of focus.
Pretty out of focus.
God dang. I mean, I don't know what to do.
Tell us what you're seeing. That bottom.
All right. So it's
bottom corner is 5
intense, dry heat, LBC, and Shockwave. So, but I think Shockwave is going to get through 16, but they're going to get beat by dry heat. So final four is relax and dry heat on one side, goats and dibs on the other. I have relax and goats in the finals. Done it lots before, and I can't wait to do it again. I have relax winning it all against the goats. At the same time, I can see goats losing in the round of 16. So I don't know. Relax for the winner.
Cool. My final four, I'm going to take Chargers to rule the day. So I'll take dibs, 5YP, relax, and Shockwave. My assumption is that Shockwave and 5YP will meet in the final, and I will take my chances with Shockwave, actually. I will say that they will claim their first one and beat the all-star team that is not quite gelled. So that will be mine going forward. Anyone have any thoughts, Brick? Comment?
I have a comment. We need to revisit this afterwards, even if it's for 5 minutes, to shame everybody on their picks.
Undoubtedly, shame will be passed out vigorously and ruthlessly over the Facebook posting things.
That's aggressive. I like it.
Brian, any comments on the tournament before we get to parting thoughts?
No, man, I'm just excited. We've been working hard. We've been practicing. Our team's fired up, man. We're on a nice little final streak, so I'm hoping it keeps on going and we keep on having our success. So I'm just fired up, personally for my team. So, yep. And Joey, the only reason I had you not making the final four is because you had to go through V to do it. So if it wasn't for that, you'd probably be in the four as well.
That gives me zero comfort whatsoever. I mean, you're still telling me V's better.
Sorry, man.
Thanks for exactly what I already understood. You were saying.
Rick, final comments on the tournament before we get to last thoughts?
No, other than just from an event manager point of view, I can only imagine everything that Brent and Saw are going through right now as far as trying to reconfirm an incredible social event schedule that they've already laid out. So my advice to all of you as players is be as accommodating and as understanding as possible in case things need to get moved around. This job, and with this being the 20th year, I know they've got big plans and are trying to literally knock it out of the park with this stuff. So I know it's gonna be their main focus, but in case anything doesn't go according to plan, I would say just be patient with them, because Lord knows that they're trying and they're doing the best they can. Sorry, I just got shushed. I'll keep it down and I'll let y'all
Final thoughts on the tourney?
I think this year, as a participant for the last 3 years and just checking things out and getting to love the game progressively more and more after every year, I feel like this year has probably the most stacked stacked competition as far as Founder Cups go. As far as, even though it's a lower number of registered teams for Founders Cup, I think that's due most likely to the Kickball Open being open, and there's more people who are interested in not being super competitive. But I feel like the people who want to be there for Founders Cup are definitely there, and it's going to result in high intensity, a lot of upsetting days for people, but it's definitely going to create, I think, some of the best kickball Founders Cup we'll ever see, especially for the 28th year.
Joey, final thoughts on tourney?
Man, I love what JJ just said right there. This is our team also is very pumped up for this tournament. I know we want to win very, very badly, and we're going to take it horribly when we lose if we do. But we're really excited to be in that bowl with everybody again. And I think my first Founders Cup was back in 2009. That's even before any circuit for Relax, and that was, I think, when we were first introduced to. I'm saying I think on all this because I don't really have any true memories from Founders Cup. I don't remember shit from any of this stuff. But that's what got us. That's what threw us into competitive kickball in the first place. And I've been with Jay and some of those guys from the very beginning, way back. This is an embarrassing story to tell, actually. I mean, I'm telling you how long I played kickball for. It's stupid. But I'm really pumped to get back to Vegas and continue this tradition, I guess.
Final thoughts on the tourney. Definitely props to Saw and Brent. They've done a great job of getting this together, as usual. In my 6 years of Founders Cup, this is definitely the deepest tournament, 1 to 25. There's certainly not a lot of chaff or easy games for anybody in pool play. And it's going to be fun to see how everything shakes out. As a final thing, this is the 20th Founders Cup. As Brick mentioned, there are going to be a lot of special things that I'm sure Saw has in store for us, whether it be costuming or events or booze or specials or DJs or music or whatever it may be. There's lots of good stuff coming for all of us this weekend. But as a final parting thought, I want to ask everyone what your worst and favorite Founders Cup memory is and the experiences that you have. And we will go in the same order. Brian, you get to go first.
First off, you guys are old. All these, talking about 2007, 2004, whenever the hell you guys started playing, that's out of control.
7.
I think probably my best memory was probably 2 years ago, because we're only in our third year as Goats. So our first year, playing in Founders as Goats, we had a pretty big overtime win over Bombay's in our first round, which was probably, I think that may have been our first elims win, as Goats. So that's my favorite. I don't really have a worst, man. I've had some pretty good experiences. I'd say just my first year, not knowing what the heck was going on, not knowing how to play. I think I played a couple of innings outfield and sucked real bad bunting and didn't know what was going on. So I'd say just my first year.
Still pretty debatable.
I know, especially lately. But just taking those lumps my first time, man, was probably the rough part. But other than that, everything's been good.
Brick, you worst, best?
Let's see. I'd say my worst memory is the first year that we came out there back in 2011. I'd never been to Vegas before, and I asked a lot of the veterans, hey, what's your advice? And I had a bunch of people telling me, hey, go out there early, party hard. And a bunch of people saying, no, you want to stay out there late. So I went out early and I stayed late. And I think I was in Vegas for 5 or 6 days. And by the time I got to the airport, I was shaken. I didn't know where I was. I wanted out of that city as quickly as humanly possible. So that is my worst memory there. Basically being in Vegas way longer than I need to. So for the second straight year, I'm taking the red eye home on Saturday directly after the tournament. And for my best memory, it'd probably be easy, saying the year that we won it, but I'd actually still go back to our first year. We had a pretty awesome overtime game against No Dead Weight, which is team that ended up bringing Bez into the game, but some of those guys are on pitch intents, or at least used to be. I think at one point, JJ, you would probably correct me if I'm wrong. But that was before everybody knew each other, before competitive kickball got huge. It was when Circuit Cup was the next day. And I think that was a round of 16 matchup. And that was about as competitive as a game as I've been in, to go to overtime and then come out on top. The emotions were high until OSC took it to us and our day was ended. So I'll say that's my best memory.
JJ, what you got?
I think you're right about that stipulation you said with Bez about PI and stuff like that, Brick. But my personal best memory, though, would have to be playing with PI 2 years ago. This is our first time PI went as a team, and we were pretty low ranked coming into that tournament. I think we were maybe 20 some odd seed, but we had Sofa King in our bracket, so they were coming. I think that was the year they won it. So they're definitely coming in hot and heavy, ready to go, locked and loaded. And then we were able, as an underdog team. I love being an underdog. That's one of my favorite things to do, especially with my personality, to feed into it. That just drives me more to motivate myself and more motivate my team to get better and better. But we were the underdog team, and then we came. It was a very hard fought battle, and there was a lot of angst in there between who has to field the ball as far as backup catchers go. Sofa King was adamant about the offensive team being the team that had to back up the ball for the pitcher. So
really, I'm shocked. I am dumbfounded and shocked and appalled.
So apparently they were the gurus of all WAKA rules, and they were very adamant about that and made a couple complaints to the referees. So that's just one of those things that just motivated us even further. So we actually came up with I believe a 3-2 victory in the pool play and took over their seed.
Yeah,
we ended up playing them in the semifinals that year, but and then we lost them in another 3-2 loss. But overall, I think that was one of my favorite experiences as far as kickball for Founders Cup goes. Worst experience, I can't really say I've had a worse experience because I'm too drunk to remember any of those bad experiences.
I like
that.
Well played, sir. Well played.
I'm too drunk to remember the good experiences too.
That's why it's your turn.
Actually, no, I do have some good experiences. I've got two very memorable good experiences. One, I know it was the first year, is when we first were introduced to basically competitive kickball, and we got knocked out in Atlantis. Might have been the first round, but we didn't give a shit, and we basically polished off a handle of fireball and danced around like idiots for a little bit, and that was really when we understood that we really liked competitive kickball, and I think that's what we were celebrating at the time was, oh shit, we have a little outlet to be competitive, travel around, see cool cities, and troll people. All right, but one of my specific, I guess this is basically a Vegas experience, but it was one of my favorite experiences from Founders Cup. Our whole team, we had a major league pitcher on our team. Or no, I don't even know if he's on our team, but he's basically played with us in Austin, but came and hung out with us in Vegas. He's a major league pitcher. He got us bottle service at the time. Long story short, we were in the club for a long time. I don't even think it was a long time, but we were pretty hammered beforehand. And I was getting up to go to the bathroom. First of all, these tables were bullshit. They were like these horseshoe tables I couldn't fit in. So just trying to move it all, it was shaking the table a shit ton. But just trying to avoid not knocking over our table, I knocked over our neighbor's whole bottle service. And I did nothing besides immediately start apologizing. But I got yanked out by a bunch of meatheads. I was, this is kind of like piecing stuff together. I was in a hallway, a bright lit hallway with a bunch of big guys. I was playing with them not to beat me up. I don't know why I thought they were going to beat me up. Anyways, I was playing with them not to beat me up. And they're like, dude, we're just holding you here until your friends are finished in there. We can't let you back in. You're kicked out. And I was like, oh my God, this is going to take forever. And I got to pee. and I can't just pee in this hallway. They're all staring at me. And before I was just about to bolt and be lost in Las Vegas with no connection to anybody, the whole group that I was with is my whole team, Relax, is coming out, and they're being kicked out by all these camp houses. Because right as they had reset the table for the people that I knocked over, one of the other guys in our group knocked it right back over. So that's when we got shoved out of there. So that was one of my favorite. That was one of my favorite experiences. That was early on in Founders. My worst experience in Founders is never fucking winning it, and I plan on changing that this year, or else that's forever going to be my worst Founders experience.
So during the recap, can we bring up the Game of Thrones shame bell and just like give it to Joey and just like shame for the cockiness?
Cockiness? What cockiness? JJ, what are you talking about, man?
I'm just kidding. You do have a stacked team, though.
We do have a stacked team. I mean, tell me where we're not stacked. I mean, refute me. Someone refute me here.
Where's Jay?
He's not on the team.
Yep,
Sorry.
leadership. You don't have the
Joey, who's your captain?
Well, okay, that is a good point. Our strategy and leadership might not be the best for this.
So you and Bez are sharing it?
No. It's Burke, I believe. I don't even know who our captain is.
Oh yeah, Burke.
So 2 hotheads. Great.
That's okay. That's our Achilles heel. Like sauce. First of all, I'll also preface this tournament with our regional tournament. We went into the regional tournament not giving 2 shits. I mean,
But Jay was at that one.
No, he wasn't.
No, I thought he was at that one.
No, he wasn't.
Oh.
He didn't get the invite.
No, he did get it. Jay's got a broken body. I don't know if Jay's going to be playing much more kickball. He's going to be taking the coach role on pretty heavy. I hope
he played a Charger last year.
What?
Jay was a hell of a Charger last year.
The dude, when hey, I'll say one thing: when competitive nature comes in play, he can make shit happen.
That's undoubtedly true.
Apparently, he doesn't care about first round opponents at all.
Final thoughts as we wrap it up. For me, my worst and best. My worst was we played a game against Gorilla Juicehead's first round of eliminations, 2015. It was the first time we had made it to eliminations. We had a throw them out at home in the 5th inning, or pardon me, the bottom of the 4th inning, which we nailed one of their players at home. They nailed one of ours at the top of the 5th. It was 0-0, and they squeezed 1 run home on us. And that was wonderfully disappointing, but at the same time, wonderfully eliminating. Best moments would have been twofold, actually. One would have been our second year of Founders. We were halfway set, and I shattered my ankle in spring. Didn't get to play at all. Arrived Founders with a semi-healed ankle. Played none, basically coached. We lost our first 3 games of pool play. I was hopped up on beer and Vicodin. The 4th game decided to play. Ripped a mean triple and thought it was fantastic. Hobbled my way to second. Had the second baseman ask me if I was okay, and I was like, "No, it's cool, dude. My ankle's just broken." And then undoubtedly the best would have been last year, making it all the way to the semifinals, just for the look of pleasure and joy in your teammates' faces when you see them, that they know they have given everything that they have executed well, and that they are all happy with how they performed and played. It was one of my favorite days that I've had in my life. And it's something that everyone should aspire to, and hopefully one of these 4 gentlemen will get the pleasure of feeling that, at least for the first time, or at least for Mr. Fawcett the second time. But I want to thank everyone for joining us. We look forward to seeing everyone in Vegas. We love
Sexual
Vegas.
chocolate.
We're thinking about you. Sexual chocolate. Donate blood. Give hugs to Vegas people. WAKA love. We'll talk to you all soon. Thank you very much.
Hey, Matt. Hey, great
Yes, sir.
job. Thanks for hosting this.
Fantastic.
You did a great job, and I'll say your NPR voice has lots of potential.
Most definitely.
Oh, yeah.
Agreed.
But you probably need to incorporate more
I'm
maybe
Matt
puck kills
Smoot.
for Brick next
Thank
time.
you.
All right.
Everyone have a good night.
Peace.
Be safe. Travel well.
Pleasure, guys.
Later, y'all.
Thanks, guys. See ya. Bye.